Okay, I finally had to find my trash deletion button. Even though I deleted everything, it holds it in the trash on an iPhone 5e or SE. But the cool thing is, I found that I have 4K possibility on this phone, which I didn't know. I thought it was only on my 7 Plus that 4K was possible. So, anyways, it's a prank day. This was a prank, best prank I pulled on a buddy when it was a roommate, and we were living in just after I left Chico. We were in Martinez. It was a bunch of friends, Mike from the Linden house, and Bill and I were living together, and there was a third roommate that was a high school kid. He was a senior, and part of our getting reduction on the rent was it was the landlord's son, was kind of being big brothers to him. So we constantly had to try to wake him up. Like Mike got up, and it was too early, but he would kind of like knock on the door, and he's like, "Hey, you got to get up in a couple hours." And I was the next one to get up, and I'd be like, "Hey, you're gonna have to get up in about an hour." And then Bill would get up the latest, and he'd be like, "Hey, dude, you're an hour late." Kid was constantly late for school for his senior year, but I get it. Liked to party and didn't have much supervision. So, anyways, the prank was this is after Bill and Mike teamed up on me and got put like 56 golf balls in my bed, a bunch of pictures that they found at his dad's rental place that they were helping clean up, and just put them all over my walls. And then the clincher was they put I had a light switch that I flicked on when I came in, and it would take like on a radio there was like a 3-second delay on it, and they had lowrider cranked in a tape player, and it took like 3 seconds to kick in. It was like 1, 2, 3, and then just blaring. And that was like the kicker. So I got them back, and Mike told me, he's like, "Dude, we always know you're going to try to get us back within like an immediate response. So we're always on the guard like the day or two after." So I was like, okay. So I just started planning and kind of mulling like ideas, and I came up with this idea. Mike was driving his dad's 65 Ranchero, and he was trying to become a stockbroker, or he had his license, but I think you have to basically be under somebody to kind of train. I don't know the full score, but anyways, he was staying up late analyzing and getting up and going to work early, and he was like the first one to leave the place. He'd leave at like 4:30 to catch the 5 o'clock BART to go into the city. Both him and I worked into the city. So what happened was I devised a plan to tie 26 cans, like soda cans, underneath his car, or to the back of his car, like when you're getting married, where it says, just married, and you got stuff banging off and it pops around. And then put a couple signs. I think I put a sign that said got laid. And it took me like 3 hours to do all this. And he came home, and I was like, "Hey, where's the twine?" And he's like, "Oh, it's up in the inner." He's like, "What are you building?" I'm like, "Just working on a project." So what happened was I got all this stuff up, and because I had to do knots in each section of the twine because I wanted the cans to shake. And it took me a while to put it all together. And I remember tying it up there on the back of his bumper, and it was 3 rows of like 9 cans. And I was like, "Oh, this is good. Wait a second. He's going to back out, hear this, and then literally like get out, check it, cut off the lines or untie them. And this whole like 3-hour thing is just going to be a wash." So I'm like, packing tape. Packing tape is a plastic tape. It's like you can get it. I think we had it in that beige color that goes over boxes, but it's plastic. So what happened was I took all the cans and I put them underneath brought them all the way to the muffler, and then taped it around the muffler. So what happens is when you get out, if you don't warm the car up too much, I know Mike was always running late, so I figured he wasn't going to warm it up too much. I figured he'd probably just get in, let it warm a little bit, and then take off. And by the time he got on the freeway, the packing tape would melt and it would release the tin cans. And then basically it's like, what could he do? He'd either have to pull over or deal with it. Knowing him, he was really hyper-focused and he probably wouldn't even hear it, which is what happened. And this is the way I remember it. And it's funny because this kind of shows you how people remember things differently. Because I talked to him about it and he remembers the end being different. But anyways, they released after he got onto the freeway and he got to BART, and people were like honking and giving him the thumbs up because of the just got laid thing, and he didn't see it, so he was like, "What?" This rancho is like a El Camino. It basically has, like a bed in the back, but it's kind of like a car truck hybrid. And so he really didn't get it, and he didn't hear the tin cans. And I guess some people were honking at him because the cans flew off and, flew towards the car, and they kind of like swerving. So they're going by him and, shaking their fists or giving him the finger. But he pulled into BART and then either cut him off or just went into BART and then went to work. And I remember distinctly that getting a phone call around 11 a.m., and he was heated, and he's like, "Put Bill on the phone." And I gave the phone to Bill, and he started chewing Bill out, thinking Bill pulled the prank. And I thought that was kind of a double whammy because I got Bill yelled at, which was kind of like a prank in itself. Because I remember him hanging up and saying, "What the?" And I started laughing, and he's like, "Did you do it?" And I was like, But Mike remembers the wind-up being that he didn't even see it. He pulled in and then came home and saw the cans after he got back and realized what had happened in the morning. But like I said, I remember getting a phone call. There was also a good prank, too, that Bill pulled. And this is the two pranks Mike said were the best, the one that I just told you about. And then he had for 2 weeks that he in his room. And Mike had the master bedroom at this place, Martinez. And Mike is a bit of a neat freak and constantly cleans. He's a bit OCD and he's very, very smart. He's like 165 IQ smart. And some of those things are like, ties his shoes different than anybody I've ever seen kind of thing. And chemistry was his favorite class, math class, or class in college, which is like, what? But what happened was he kept smelling dog shit in his room, like shit. He's like, and he was searching everywhere, under the bed, all these different places. And finally he was like, "Is it in the speakers?" And he opened up the back of the speakers and there's dog shit. And it turned out it was Bill's prank, but he had unscrewed or undone the back of the speakers, and they were pretty good sized speakers, like 2 foot or higher, and put dog shit inside, and so you could smell it, but you couldn't find where it was. And it took him 2 weeks, but he finally found it. I thought that was hilarious. We had 2 dogs when we were there, and he just scooped it up and put it in the back. I was like, that's hilarious. So anyways, that's the 2 pranks. There's actually 3 pranks, I guess, that were in there, but that was when we were at the Martinez house. So it was prank central. There was a lot of other ones, too. I might even tell some of those stories later. So anyways, have a good day, and I might do another video because I cleared the cache on not the cache, but the trash on it, so I got like a lot of memory, and it's all on 4K now, so check it out.